What is going on, everybody, and welcome to a brand new video on my channel. My name is Sean, aka Elite, and today I'm going to bring you my FIFA 21 icon wish list. So let's just go ahead and hop right into it, guys. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe if you guys have been enjoying the videos recently. And this is going to be new icons we've never seen before, because there's a lot of icons that I would love to see in FIFA 21, but we've seen them in the past, and I just hope they bring them back. The likes of Romario from Brazil, Beckenbauer, the center back / CDM from Germany, Landon, Donovan, and Alexi, Lalas, both American icons. I'm American. I would love to see them come back as well, although I understand that they would be on the lower tier icons, like lower rated for their cards. Totally understand that, but iconic nonetheless. I don't know. Hope to see them come back eventually, at least Landon, Donovan, and possibly Clint Dempsey as well. But that will be discussed a little bit later. You've also got Weah, who, against popular belief, is not American. He is Liberian. George Weah coming back would be awesome. You've got Suker from Croatia, Effenberg and Breme, a couple more Germans, and then Valderrama from Colombia. Those are all icons that we've seen in the past that I would love for them to bring back. A lot of people probably would disagree with the Valderrama one because he was historically pretty terrible in FIFA because he only had passing and dribbling, but he was usable at least in FIFA 16. Nonetheless, if they brought him back and boosted his stats a little bit more, I think he could be pretty cool. But here are some of the new ones that I think we should be bringing into FIFA 21. We already know that Cantona is going to be in the FIFA 21 release. He'll be right away. He's the one. He's like the cover star for the icons this year. Cantona has already been confirmed, so he's going to be in FIFA 21. But one I think that the most people want is Philipp Lahm. And even as a Dortmund fan, he deserves it. I mean, he played right back most of his career. Could also play center defensive mid, no problem, as he did quite a bit for the 2014 Germany winning the World Cup. Philipp Lahm was an absolute engine. I mean, what a captain, what a player. Going through his entire career without getting a red card, pretty impressive for a defender, especially if you compare him to Sergio Ramos as well, who probably will be getting an icon card the day he retires as well. Next up, another recent player. We'll probably pull from farther back in time as well, but I'll start the video with the more recent players that have retired. Van Persie. Van Persie, the Flying Dutchman. We all remember his goal against Spain, I believe it was, back in the 2014 World Cup. What a goal that was. I can't believe that it didn't end up winning. Puskas, who, that's another name we'll be talking about a little bit later. But what a player. I mean, Robin Van Persie was. He played, obviously, coming up through the ranks in Netherlands and then went to a couple different teams in the Premier League. One of the best strikers I've ever seen play. I think he deserves to get an icon card in FIFA 21. Another striker that is one of the best players that I've ever seen play is Samuel Etto. His time at Barcelona really just solidifies him as one of the best strikers to ever do it. So Samuel Etto from Cameroon, he'll be one of the highest rated African players of all time, for sure. He already is, but will be even higher once he gets an icon card, probably upwards of like 92, 93 rated for his prime icon card. Samuel Etto definitely deserves to be in there. Another recent retiree is Tim Cahill. Again, going to be one of the lower rated icons, but iconic nonetheless, and he's done a ton for the sport in Australia. Best Australian player of all time, most likely. I don't think anybody would probably debate that. I know Jedinak was a great penalty taker and one of the best pen takers of all time, but overall, Cahill as a striker just carried that country for years and years and years, leading them to several different World Cup appearances. And it's no coincidence that once he got older and wasn't as effective, that Australia has started to struggle a little bit more without him. He's just a absolutely great striker. I think he deserves to be a FIFA 21 icon. Definitely on the lower end, similar to Landon, Donovan and Alexi, Lalas and those kind of guys, but an icon nonetheless. Casillas, obvious. All right, Casillas is so obvious. One of the best goalkeepers of all time for both Spain and Real Madrid. Finished his career in Portugal, where he obviously had a little bit of health issues towards the end of his career and officially retired. So he is eligible to become an icon. And at the exact same time, Petr Cech probably deserves an icon as well. The Czech Republic goalkeeper. Czech Republic has always really kind of had good goalkeepers, to be fair. Petr Cech, no exception, probably the best they've ever had. Maybe the best player Czech Republic's ever had is Petr Cech. You've obviously got to consider Pavel Nedved, who's another icon, and also won Ballon d'Or. Czech never won Ballon d'Or, but you got to admit it is a little bit easier to win Ballon d'Or as an attacker. Czech is one of the best Czech Republic players of all time. It's weird to say, Czech Republic. He is one of the best of all time from that country, and I think he deserves an icon going into FIFA 20 for his time at Chelsea, especially. Another recent retiree. He played in Qatar to finish his career, but known for his time in Barcelona, where he was in the top 3 for Ballon d'Or. Xavi, Iniesta, Messi. What a trio. What an absolutely unbelievable trio. One of the best passers, creative midfielders of all time. He obviously flourished under Pep's system with Messi as a false 9 and him playing in the midfield alongside Iniesta. You can't argue that it is easier to be one of the best midfielders of all time when you've got another one of the best midfielders of all time next to you and you're passing to the likes of Lionel Messi, Samuel Etto, who we mentioned earlier, Thierry Henry, Ronaldinho. It makes your job a little bit easier, but you can't deny his talent and his brilliance. Xavi, icon in FIFA 21. I want to see it. I really want to see that one. Yaya Toure, another recent retiree. So this is the last one of the last 5 years of players that have retired that I think should be icons in FIFA 21. Yaya Toure, obviously Ivory Coast player. He is probably the best player from Ivory Coast of all time, at least from what on the top of my head I can think of. Ivory Coast is one of the better nations in Africa, always competing for the Cup of Nations in Africa, consistently qualifying for the World Cup, even though they missed out on the last one. And that might be because of the fact that they've lost Yaya Toure in the last couple of years. Yaya Toure, what a tank he was in the midfield for his size, at 6'3", I believe, and just a big, heavy-built player. He had an incredible touch for the size he was. To play him in the midfield, it's very impressive. I guess you could say Pogba-esque without the skill moves and the flair, and the rocket he had for a shot. Yaya Toure, definitely an icon in my eyes. A couple players that are more back in the day, I guess you could say, that haven't become an icon yet. And don't get me wrong, this guy's not that old. He's still looking good, still doing commercials, known for his boxer commercials, and he owns a team down in Miami now as David Beckham. David Beckham obviously retired in the last decade, but not as recent as the other players we've mentioned. And I gotta just present this argument. You've got an icon Lampard, you've got an icon Gerrard, you've got an icon Paul Scholes. Why not finish it off with the icon Beckham? If they got icons, Beckham deserves an icon too. He also played abroad a little bit, PSG towards the end of his career, played at LA Galaxy in the USA, and decided he liked it here, so he stayed and made a team himself here. Definitely an icon, really, really famous guy, David Beckham is, and deserves an icon card for sure. You could say that he was a poster boy as well, just like Pele was back in his day. Sure, but that doesn't decrease the amount of talent that he had. Scored one of the most famous free kicks of all time. You know exactly what I'm talking about there. And he scored a lot more free kicks along the way. So I think that David Beckham deserves his spot on this list. Heading back, a couple of Germans I wanna put on this list. You've got Oliver Kahn, another goalkeeper, third goalkeeper I've got on my list. Oliver Kahn was possibly the most intimidating goalkeeper of all time. You got to be scared of that guy. And I remember last year, he obviously still has tons of ties to Bayern and DFB, but it was when Bayern were winning 6-0 against Hoffenheim, and then the Bayern fans displayed the banner, which was obviously displeasing towards Hoffenheim's owner, and they wouldn't put it away. And the game almost got abandoned because of the interruption from the Bayern fans. And they almost lost out on a just absolutely demolition of a game, 6-0 against Hoffenheim. They almost lost out. It wouldn't have been counted. Oliver Kahn came out from the locker room, and you best believe they put that banner away immediately because that guy's scary, all right? He's very intimidating. You know, a couple players that you might put on the level of intimidation of Oliver Kahn, maybe Jap Stam, who's actually managing my local team, FC Cincinnati now, fun fact. But, like, up there with some of the scariest players to play against. I mean, that guy was ruthless. So, he's got to be on this list for me. And another player that deserves a spot on this icon list that's German is Gerd Muller. He's the top scoring German in Bundesliga in history. Obviously, Lewandowski up there for, you know, one of the best strikers in the history of Bundesliga as well. But Gerd Muller, I don't know if it's a J or a G, the GIF thing all over again, but he deserves his spot on this list. I never got to watch him play, but looking at the statistics, I mean, this guy was just the best in the world at his time. Probably best striker in the world at his time. Definitely best in Bundesliga. Probably the best German striker of all time. It's definitely a spot that they haven't lacked in either. You've got Miroslav Klosa up there, who got his icon card this year. And if Klosa can get an icon card, Gerd Muller definitely deserves an icon card. Because Gerd Muller was... I know I keep switching back and forth between how I pronounce it, because I just don't know. But he deserves an icon card because he seemed like he was twice the player that Miroslav Klosa was. Despite the fact that Miroslav Klosa is the top scoring player in World Cup history. So that's another fun fact for you guys today. Speaking of strikers, we've got an Uruguayan. It's not Luis Suarez, it's not Cavani, although they both might be in contention for icons once they retire. But it is Forlan. Forlan for both Uruguay and for Atletico Madrid. He had a couple of years where he was, the best striker in the world. And I actually got to watch a little bit of him playing, but not much. Still a little bit before my time. Great striker for his time and unbelievable player. So I think he at least deserves a shout at an icon in FIFA 21. Here's a player that you could argue is the best right back of all time. We talked about Philipp Lahm earlier. And yeah, he's probably top 5 for sure. You could argue number 1. This guy, Cafu, Brazilians never disappoint at the fullback position. Never, ever disappoint. And now that Dani Alves is also retired, I believe, I don't think he'll be in FIFA 21, and I'm not going to put him on this list. Dani Alves at right back, one of the best right backs of all time. And you look at left back and the talent that Brazil has there currently and historically, like with Roberto Carlos. Cafu, maybe the best out of all of them. Maybe the best out of all of the fullbacks that Brazil has ever produced. So the fact that he doesn't have an icon card yet is pretty surprising. And I think that maybe FIFA 21 is going to be his time. Looking at my list, I got one more guy that I think deserves a shout. Think about all the English strikers that already have icons. All right? There's a ton of them. Can't say that they all 100% maybe deserve an icon card because you can tell that EA are a little bit more biased towards giving English players icon cards and giving Premier League players icon cards. That's definitely, there's a lot more there than any other league in comparison, I think. But the fact that we see all these English players, English strikers, and Bobby Charlton isn't one of them, that's crazy. He needs his spot on this list. Part of the England winning the World Cup team, the leader of that team, really. And he's not even got an icon card yet. The best England team of all time. He led that team, along with Bobby Moore, sure. And he's got his icon card. Why doesn't Charlton have his card? He needs his card. And that's going to complete my list today. There's tons more that I could probably add to this list. So let me know their names in the comments down below. Go ahead and give them the shout out. And who are the icons that I left off this list that you want to see in FIFA 21? I want the comments spammed with different players that deserve icon cards or could get icon cards in FIFA 21. That's going to be it for me today. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.